Hi there, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and as usual, I'm here live to take your immigration questions. So, if you're thinking about going through the immigration process, you are going through the immigration process, you have been through the immigration process, then I know that you have that one nagging question that is keeping you up at night, and I want to be here to answer that question for you. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments or the Q&A feature and I will go ahead and answer your questions because that's why I'm here. So over the next half an hour is your chance. So don't wait, don't hesitate. Put your question in the comments and I will go ahead and answer. And now the questions can roll in quickly, and so you want to make sure you get your questions in ASAP. Hi there, Simplicity21. I'm good. I hope you're good too. What is an E2 visa? So the E2 visa it's called, the entire name is Treaty Investor Visa. So it's for citizens of certain countries who want to come to the United States to start a business or even expand their business in the United States. And so it is available for those citizens if they can show that they are currently investing or they have invested a substantial amount into their business. There's no limit on the type of business. It can be anything, right? As long as you can get the visa, as long as you can show that you are going to actively run that business in the United States and you need the visa to do it. So it's an opportunity to try life out in the United States, live and work here while you run your business here. There's no losing there. Now, how much do you need? That's the next question. What you need is a substantial amount for the business. So it's not necessarily that you need millions of dollars, but say it's going to take 100,000 US to run this type of business, get it off the ground and keep it running successfully in the United States, then you'll need to have about that to be able to run the business. So now another thing to take into consideration is money in the bank is not enough. So now if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have 100K in the bank, I'm gonna apply for this visa. You want to make sure you work with an attorney like myself, because what you have to do is show that you're actively investing this money into your business. So it could be through the setup costs, hiring, inventory, leasing property to be able to run the business in. So those are examples of how you must show that you're currently investing in the business or you have invested in the business. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, give me a call. We can talk more about your particular plans. I am from Jamaica, so I know you hear that accent. That's where it's from. What are some question categories I should be prepared to answer at my marriage-based green card interview? So definitely sit down with your spouse. Make sure you have your dates together, consistent. So for example, when did you meet? How did you meet? How did your spouse propose? What are your in-laws' names, like your parent-in-laws, your sister-in-law, your brother-in-law? What are their names? Make sure you both know each other's. What are your birthdays? What did you celebrate for your anniversary? Which is your favorite holiday? What side of the bed do you sleep on? What's the color of your curtain in the living room? They may, for example, separate you and ask your spouse that question. What is the color of the curtain in the living room? And then they're going to turn around and ask you, what's the color of the curtain in the living room? So they can even go as far as to ask, do you plan to have children in the future, or why don't you have children? So just be prepared, make sure that you know each other. I know that it's a nerve-wracking experience, and sometimes you may not even remember these details. So it's important to touch base with your spouse. Make sure you know at least birthdays, anniversaries. How did you meet? When did you meet? How did you get engaged? Who was at your wedding? Details like that. Also your daily routines. Who gets up first? Who cooks breakfast? Who cooks dinner? who leaves the house first. So make sure you know all of that. Keep those questions coming. These are all great questions. So Melly 960. Now, you're pregnant. Would that be a problem? I don't know. Usually if you're pregnant for your spouse, so you are pregnant for your spouse, then actually that's a good sign, right? So if it's revealed in some way that this pregnancy isn't, so this child, okay, so yes, so I don't need to go any further. Yes, that's actually a great sign. If you're pregnant for your spouse, you're both planning to have a baby, that's not going to be a problem at all. That's actually very good evidence of a real marriage. So, and congratulations on your pregnancy. So keep those questions coming. These are all great questions. Thank you, Melly960, for your questions. And I want to hear some more questions. So go ahead and put those questions in the comments. You're welcome, Melly960. So I'm here every day. And if you want to learn more about me, you can go to the link in my bio. So I'm looking to buy 50% of a company for $65K, and the money will be used for inventory. Good E2 case. So absolutely it could be. Now, J-Focus 101, I can't confirm anything here because I have to get into the nitty-gritty with you. But based on the facts that you've provided me, you want 50% of a company, and for $65K. Now it depends on how much money would it take to keep running the business. Now $65K is a good start, but I need to delve more into your details, and that has to be done in a consultation. But good start, definitely good start, and I would love to speak with you some more and see if I can help you to apply for this. So go ahead, give me a call, schedule a consultation. So there is a scheduling coordinator who is available right now to take your calls, schedule your consultations. So you are free to call up until 11 p.m. And if the phone lines get busy and you get the after hours receptionist, you can head over to the website, complete the web form with your name, your information, and then the scheduling coordinator will get right back to you. If not tonight, then tomorrow. But they are available up until 11 p.m. And even if you call outside of those hours, there's always an after hours receptionist calling. I'm answering the phone. Hi there, Princess Cindy 195. Hi, good night. I have a 2-year-old baby and I want to come to NY for 2 weeks. Is there anywhere I can take her with me because the embassy is closed? So unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to advise you on where you would be able to take your child. So unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to advise on that. You probably would have to check with check with family or see if there's some sort of childcare available. J-Focus, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So the kids are married and have, let's see. So a mother is a U.S. citizen. Can she do adjustments for her kids that's on visitors visas in the U.S.? The kids are married and have children. So no. So if the kids are married and they themselves have children, as a U.S. citizen parent, she can sponsor them. They just would not qualify for adjustment of status, especially with a visitor's visa. So and it's a much longer process. This process takes about 12 years. So yeah. So do you assist with filing papers? Absolutely. So I'm an immigration attorney, and so I represent my clients through the entire process, from filing documents, preparing, putting evidence together, attending interviews, advocating where I need to advocate. I also go to immigration court. So I basically represent, once someone becomes my client, I represent them through the entire process. What benefits does an ITIN give you with immigration? So with immigration, it is not for the purpose of immigration. It's for the purpose of filing your taxes if you don't have a social security number. But here's the deal. When you file your taxes and then you're applying and you have to show good moral character, showing that you've complied with tax laws, you've worked to comply with tax laws by getting an ITIN number, and then by submitting your taxes, paying your taxes, that can be a good sign of good moral character. It can also show continuous presence, where you need to show continuous presence in the United States for certain applications. So if you're applying and you need to prove that you have been living here, so for example, as a DACA recipient, with DACA you do have to show continuous presence in the United States, and that paying taxes every year and showing that your ITIN was active on your taxes is a good way to do that. I have 2 kids, but I don't have documents. Is there anything I can do to get a work permit? Unfortunately, having kids alone would not qualify you to get a work permit. You'd have to qualify in some way, and that's going to require me going through your facts. So, the first thing is you have to qualify through an employer, through family, or through some sort of humanitarian means. So what benefit? I have 2 kids, but I don't have documents. Is there anything? So do you do waivers for someone that was deported? He already did the 10 years wait. So absolutely I do. That is definitely one of my focuses. So TJ, 2211. So TPS, when you can apply for TPS depends on the country. So if you're the citizen of the country that's designated as a TPS country, then you have to look at the timeline. There's a specific open period that you're given to apply. And so, it depends on which country. I know Haiti is one that was just designated, and I believe you'd have to go to the uscis.gov website, but I believe they're opening up from July. So Danae, 2 lies. If I have 1 year of taxes done, can I still file K1 fiance visa? So if you have 1 year of taxes filed, it all depends on the reasons that the other years weren't filed. So with this, I definitely would want to speak with you first, because I want to find out the circumstances. I wouldn't be able to advise you specifically, but generally you'd have to show, if you didn't file your taxes before, you'd have to show, give an explanation as to why. For example, some individuals didn't make enough to file taxes, and so they would have to make sure that they let the officer know that. So you're welcome. When can we apply for? So I answered that. Princess Cindy, you're welcome. What is the age limit for a work permit? So I believe would be 14 is when you can get the work permit. Good evening. Do you assist with applying for a visitor's visa? I can assist. If you would like assistance, you can definitely give me a call, schedule a consultation, and we can go through your qualifications and then move forward with representing you on that. So keep those questions coming, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. Now, if you're on here and you're trying to ask your question, but you're noticing it's not coming across, try that comment box at the bottom of the screen with the question mark in there. That one has worked well for those where the questions don't come across well in the comments. So that's a Q&A feature. I'm here to answer your immigration related questions. So don't hesitate, put your questions in now. Why not take advantage of me, an immigration attorney, being here to answer your questions. Now, you can always go to the link in my bio to learn more about me, what I do, the cases I focus on. So I basically help people to get their green cards and status in the United States. If you look through all my videos, it all has something to do with that, with getting status in the United States to live and work here. So if you are in a situation where you would like to figure out what you qualify for, a good way to start is to follow me and to learn about some ways. I talk in so many of my videos about how to qualify to fix your status if you're here in the United States. So I am in Boca Raton, Florida, but I represent clients all over the country and the globe because I work with U.S. embassies, USCIS offices all over the country. So my clients are all over. So what does the IOE mean on the case? So there's Venom Queen. There are certain designated just letters in front of the receipt number, and sometimes it helps them determine which cases they're processing, which service centers. So in my practice, I haven't had to really focus on the IOE necessarily. It's more about the substance of the case. That's just a part of the receipt number. Would there be any hope for essential workers program this year as promised by President Biden? I hope so. Unfortunately, the immigration, I am cautiously optimistic about it just because immigration is slow right now with all the politics. However, Biden is working very hard on the back end to assist immigrants to make it fairer, to make it a better process right now, which is great. It's better than nothing. But as for any kind of reform or new laws, we'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't expect anything within months. It might be a year or more before we see something promising. So you're welcome, Vermont Queen, and it's always nice to see you. What is the easiest visa to get to come work in the U.S., college student and experienced tech? So it's not necessarily about what's the easiest, it's what you qualify for. What are the needs of your employer? Whether you have an employer who's willing to sponsor you. My friend having a child in the U.S. on a B2, but her mom is a U.S. citizen, what would be the process? So if her mom is a U.S. citizen, she's under 21 and she's unmarried, her mom would be able to file for her. And if the baby, I guess the baby would be a U.S. citizen. However, having a U.S. citizen baby alone isn't going to be enough. That baby will have to grow up to 21 and over to be able to qualify to sponsor her mom. Can I apply for a green card as an international student? You can, but you have to qualify. So you'd have to qualify through an employer, through a family member, or through humanitarian means. How long before the 3 years can apply for citizenship if you're married to a U.S. citizen? So you have to get the green card through that U.S. citizen, stay married to that U.S. citizen for 3 years, and then have the green card for 3 years. And then you can apply right then and there for U.S. citizenship. My sister is married, but her husband is in jail. So in such a situation, is she able to file? So usually they require the spouse to be there, and so it would be that could be a difficult situation. But what she can do, have her schedule a consultation. Tell her to call me and schedule a consultation. We can talk more about what the circumstances are. What's her situation? I never like to say there's no hope until I get a full picture of what's going on. So I don't do Canadian immigration. So I am only a U.S. immigration attorney. You're welcome, Nickel Plated. Can an uncle file for his nephew to get his green card? So no, they cannot. Now, an uncle could file for the nephew's parent, which would be the uncle's sibling. That is a long process, and if the nephew is under 21 and unmarried, they can go along with their parents. But that's an indirect way of where an uncle indirectly file for the nephew, but not directly. Can a sibling who has U.S. citizenship apply for a sibling? Yes, keep in mind it does take long. So in the Caribbean, it's about 14 years. In Mexico, it's taking 22 years. So if you're invested, if it's your only option, by all means, you can move forward with that. But you have to especially if you're in the United States and undocumented, you want to evaluate your options. Can you give us some information for Eb3 visa? So the Eb3 is a work base, so it's employment based, and you could fall into three different categories: unskilled labor, skilled labor, a professional. And then it depends on who your employer is, what the qualifications are, and whether you fall within the qualifications necessary to get that particular green card. Now, keep in mind that there's labor certification that's required, and that's basically to make sure that the wages are fair and that there's not shutting out U.S. workers and that your labor is needed in the United States. And so that can be the lengthiest part of this process. So I petitioned for removal of status in 2018, still waiting for 10-year green card. What do I do? So there's a terrible backlog with that right now. What you should do right now is make sure that nothing is pending. They're not asking you to send them information, or they haven't sent a request for evidence. Just keep checking on your case. If you would like further representation, you can always give me a call and schedule a consultation. Mamta 8120, can you explain a little bit info about International Entrepreneurs Visa? So I believe you're talking about the entrepreneur's parole system. And that's where if you're not necessarily qualified for any other type of visa, but you're an entrepreneur, you can show that, and you can show that you have investors who are willing to invest in your business. So for example, if you have like around 250K for your worth of investors, and that your startup has some potential, they'll allow you to come to the United States to run your business here. And then that could definitely, once you start to excel in your business, that could definitely lead to another type of visa. So it's basically for startup entrepreneurs who they're not exactly there yet, but they have potential. What can you do if your green card has been rejected because of your husband did a felony? So now they don't usually look at your spouse. I know with a fiance visa that could be the case, but otherwise I don't believe that they look at your spouse. So I need to figure out what happened in your case to determine how to move forward. Would there be any hope for farm workers this year, as President Biden promised? So to me, that's one of the more promising proposals, but it hasn't passed the House of Representatives. So we'll have to watch. I don't think it's going to be within months, but that my hope is it could be, I could be wrong, but we'll see. And if something does happen, I'll definitely let you know. Jojo Becky, thanks for sharing. So Labi Zizat, thank you, and you're welcome. So keep those questions coming while I'm here. You should take the chance to ask that question because I am here. So my sisters in India want to invest here. What can we do? Schedule a consultation and then let's talk about that. Your sister, it depends on the type of visa she's looking at. If she's looking, if first of all, it has to be for her to invest under the E2, it has to be an E2 country. And the best way to do that is to just go to the uscis.gov and put in E2 countries. I also have a video, but you'll probably have to scroll somewhere down to find all the countries that are on the E2 visa list. So that would be the first step. But that's an E2 treaty investor visa. If she doesn't fall within that, we'd have to see what else she qualifies for. So give me a call, schedule a consult. Can I sponsor myself through my business? I live in NYC, but I'm 50% shareholder with someone. So this is a more complex issue, and I would definitely have to schedule a consultation to see what the makeup of your business is and what that whole, what it entails. What do you qualify for? And whether you are in status, because if you're applying for a green card through your business or through an employer, you still have to maintain legal status in the United States to be able to stay and get the green card. And one thing, if you have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent, then there is a waiver available that could allow you to get forgiveness to finish the green card process. But it all depends also on your situation. It may not be as straightforward as just getting the green card through your business. We'd have to look at your immigration status. What are your qualifications? What are the needs of your business? How much interest do you have, what type of visa or possibly green card you would be applying for. So Kedibu 3 is the embassy taking applications for minors in Jamaica, and is the office in Kingston open? The best thing to do, because it's all changing and differing based on the conditions in the country. So go to you can Google U.S. Embassy in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, and go to the website, and they'll definitely provide you updates on what's happening at that embassy. Mamta, okay, I'm looking forward to that. Prima facie is issued, meant case is almost approved. So it means that it's a good sign. I wouldn't say almost approved, but what it is a preliminary review of the application to say, do you meet all the criteria? And if you do, they issue this prima facie letter. But keep in mind that when an officer really sits down and gets into the nitty-gritty of your application, they may have more questions. And so it may not be smooth sailing. You may have to answer their questions and respond to more information, but it's definitely a good sign to start, a very good sign. So Jamaica, Devon, can someone apply for citizenship while waiting for the renewal of their green card? So if they're waiting, yes, absolutely, as long as they qualify in every other way. Mamta, yes, I can do consults by phone and video, and actually I do phone and video consultations more than I even do at the office. So especially with the COVID, and because I represent clients all over the country and they can't be here in person. I'm in Florida, but I represent clients all over the world, all over the country. And so they are able to do it by phone and video. My husband's just going to turn citizen, but my cousin does not put my kids in Jamaica on it. What do? So in your case, I'm not sure why the cousin, if the cousin is the one that prepared the application. However, the kids wouldn't necessarily. Now, kids, they do have to be on the application. So it's important to disclose all the information. And so you may need to amend that application to put the kids on there so that the officer doesn't perceive it as your husband is hiding the fact that he has kids. So that is one. And the other is, even if the kids are on the application, it wouldn't necessarily mean that they'll derive citizenship from him, because the first thing is they would have to be green card holders, permanent residents, and within your husband's custody to be able to do that. So, definitely get legal advice about what you should do. If you have a bad feeling, get legal advice. Can't stress that enough. If a person was denied more than once for a visitor's visa, do you assist with the application? So I can definitely advise. Usually when somebody is denied more than once, and if they're not given the reason, it's usually the officer isn't convinced that they have strong ties to their home country that would make them return after a temporary visit to the U.S. And so the key here is to show strong ties to your home country. Show that you have a job, that you have a business, that you have property, that you have a mortgage, that you have strong family ties, that you have strong commitments in the future, like if you're a student at a university, that you've paid your school fee and you're very invested, so you have to return to school. So those are just some examples. So Cooler Son, how can I apply? I'm not sure what you would be applying for, and I forgot your question, Cooler Son. So Mamta, how do I connect? So you can go to the link in my bio where you can go straight to the website. The website has the contacts number. You can call tonight if you want. The scheduling coordinator is available until 11 p.m. And there's also a receptionist, a backup after hours receptionist who answers the phone, takes your information for the scheduling coordinator to get back to you. You can also fill out a contact form on the website, and the scheduling coordinator will get back to you, schedule the consultation, and confirm it so that we can talk. So I hope to connect with you soon. So I don't see any more questions, so I am going to head out. It was a pleasure to see you and to answer your questions. I will be back tomorrow as usual, so follow me, and as soon as you see me go live. So does a big age gap matter when filing through marriage? As long as you're in love and you are planning a life together and it's genuine, it shouldn't be. But be prepared to make that case to the officer. Put good evidence together that your marriage is real. That's very important. And make sure you know each other going into the interview so that the officer can really see that it's genuine. My friend is married and the husband requested for a divorce before they could file. What can she do? So it depends. If her husband mistreated her and he's a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, there may be a way for her to apply on her own, but it all depends on what the circumstances were surrounding the divorce. Keep in mind that if she's been divorced for less than 2 years, she can still apply on her own if she qualifies. Let her know, share one of my videos with her. Let her know that there is a program available for individuals who have been divorced for less than 2 years, they were mistreated by their spouse, U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, that they can still apply for the green card on their own. So let her explore her options. She can call and schedule. How long does it take for a VAWA case to be approved? So it depends on the family relationship that you're applying based on. For spouses, about 2 to 2.5 years. And keep in mind, there may be delays with the COVID. And also, if RFEs are issued, it can take months to get back on track. So please, I need the website. If you cooler son, if you go to the link in my bio, so the main link on my page, it will take you to the website. It's www.stlawoffice.com, stlawoffice.com. So if you missed that, you can go to the link in my bio and it will take you to the website. Thanks Chrissy D for sharing the live. Thanks CKMGJ for sharing. Have a good night, everyone. Go to the link in my bio if you want to get in touch with me. You can also do online chat. So that's another thing. We do have the online chat open on the website. We have the web form if you don't want to call or if you can't get through because the phone lines are busy. And then we have our phone number, and there's a scheduling coordinator who's available up to 11 p.m. You can go ahead and call, and you can call 24/7. There's someone always answering the phone to take care of you. So go ahead, contact me to schedule that consult. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.